Sure.
Hey, everybody. We are super excited to be joining you for another live stream with, I don't know, I think we're going to be like the three amigos. What do we think? Should we call ourselves that? Three Musketeers, three amigos? What do we think?
I dig it.
All right, cool.
Love
Jacob,
it.
thank you. Thank you for having us join you today. You want to kick it off and say hey to your people?
Sure. Well, hey, everybody who's checking in today. I know, man, Christmas right around the corner, but, cold in Vegas by our standards, but the real estate market is heating up. So this is a time when actually a lot of people, believe it or not, end up moving to Vegas. I moved here in December. So this is a big time. In the news recently, it just showed that Vegas was the leading area in the country for investors purchasing homes too. So all sorts of fun stuff today. Laci and Amber are going to help be here for a whole bunch of these questions on the real estate and the mortgage side. Questions, drop them. Drop all the questions you want. We'll get to them later. The video, and if you want to work with Laci and Amber when you're looking to come move here, the link will be down below, or you can call the number on the screen.
Awesome. Yeah. Amber, how's your
Hi,
day today, babe?
everybody from Jacob's channel, Laci's channel, and my channel. Thanks for following, and we're excited to talk to you today and really answer any questions that you have, but then to give you all the new scoop of everything that's going on right now and then through the rest of 2025. Or into 2025.
I'm so proud of you, Amber. I never make you do like any intros or anything. I'm always just like take it. I was like, today we're gonna make you do an intro. So I
feel like I just grew up in the YouTube world.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Oh, you did great. I'm super happy. Good to see everybody who's joining. Like Jacob said, drop it like it's hot in the comment box below. We really want to make sure we're answering your questions. We do these lives for you. We're grateful to have Jacob here. We know that he has a great audience and a lot of people with a lot of questions. So bring it hard, bring it excited, bring it happy. We're going to jump right into this and get things going. And we have a lot to talk about today.
Yes. First and foremost, the biggest news, this is where Amber's world really got some big news. And for a lot of you said that's going to be when you're applying for mortgages, new loan limits came out. So the Fed put it out for everybody in the U.S. What are these new loan limits, Amber? Give us what people need to know.
Okay, well, let's talk about, there's several different loan programs. So let's talk about all three of them, FHA, conventional, and then VA. So the new FHA loan limit, so keep in mind when you see the loan limit, it's going to show 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units. Mostly what you're going to be looking at is the 1 unit, because most of them is for single family homes, condos, townhouses. $524,000. That opens up a lot of buying power right there. Does that blow your mind?
When I bought a house, it was 280, and that was not, I don't even think that was 6 years ago. It was 280 something thousand, right?
287. I think it was like 287.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Inflation, baby.
Oh my God.
That's crazy inflation right there. 524,000. But I mean, it opens up huge buying power for so many people because FHA allows so many more loan approvals than conventional does.
Absolutely.
It just has so many more different guidelines that allow more people. But yeah, it is crazy how high it is right now.
Amber, can you ask you, since we have a kind of a broader audience today with all three of our channels going live, will you touch just a little bit on the FHA program? A lot of people are scared of that program, and a lot of people kind of stay away from it because they hear things in the news or from friends, people who are experts that don't do this for a living. I hate that because it really bums me out, but it limits people's thinking and what's possible. Will you walk through kind of how that works? What is FHA? Actually, we even got a question here that says, what's FHA? So let's talk about it.
Oh, nice. I don't know why there's such a negative thing about FHA, to be quite honest with you. So when you're a first-time home buyer, for sure, right? But you can do this with your not being a first-time home buyer as well. But most of the time when you're a first-time home buyer, you don't have a lot of money to put down on a house. Sometimes your credit might not be up there because maybe it's not lengthy enough to be as high or something like that. So FHA has lower rates than conventional. It's usually about 0.5% lower. Their mortgage insurance is the same mortgage insurance no matter what your debt ratio is, no matter what your credit scores are. Conventional mortgage insurance is higher if your credit scores are lower and your debt ratio is higher, right? So they work differently that way. So if you have high FICO scores and you're going to put more money down, conventional is usually the better route for you. If you're not looking to put a lot of money down, 3.5%, or you can add a grant to this, and maybe your FICO scores are a little bit less than 720, 700, FHA usually runs better numbers for you. FHA also allows higher debt to income ratios, so it allows more people to get into houses, FHA does. Yeah. So I don't really know why there's a negative thought process of FHA. It's a really cool program, and it actually runs better payments if you're putting a lesser down than
Yeah.
conventional does.
Yeah, I think a lot of times the PMI, the extra payment that's included in your mortgage, I think is what turns people off. But they don't really quite understand that like that can go away over time. Am I right?
Well, no, let me explain that. So
Yeah.
PMI mortgage insurance, you have that for FHA loans and conventional loans. You have them for both. So FHA, you have it regardless. Conventional, if you put less than 20% down, you have PMI on there. The
Yeah.
difference is the cool thing about conventional is it goes away once you have 20% equity and you could, get an appraisal and the bank can remove it. FHA, you have to refinance out of that. But right now, when we're in a market where you're getting a loan and you're going to refinance later, just take whatever's the lowest payment because you're going to refinance that loan in the future anyway.
Yep. I love that. And P.S. if you guys are watching for the first time, my name's Laci. I'm a realtor here in Vegas, and Amber's actually a lender. She's basically the person who's going to do the hard part, which is really, really getting down in there in the nitty gritty. Jacob's amazing because he's always we always have these great conversations off camera about with all his great questions. You guys watch his channel for a reason because he does needle in for those questions. And I'm so glad that we get to do this online where we get to do these conversations in front of you now. But it's just been super interesting to me to see how the evolution of knowledge regarding loans has not changed much. And Amber's ranked number what, Amber, in the nation?
Well, do you want to know what I'm ranked in Nevada right now?
Yes. What are you ranked?
I mean, we still have to finish the year, but right now I'm the #1 lender in Nevada.
What? Oh my God. Congratulations. I didn't know that. That's
We haven't
amazing.
finished the year yet, so I probably shouldn't have said it out loud, but I was so excited when I saw that the other day.
Oh,
I was
that's
so grateful
well deserved.
for everybody that trusts me to help them with their loan.
Yeah. And then Amber, you're just so creative and so you think outside the box. And I know personally, you and I have handheld people from never thinking they could buy a home all the way to having the keys to a home. And then sometimes more than one home as they become investors. So I'm just, congratulations. Wow. I didn't know that. That's amazing. I was going to, in the nation, what are you ranked?
Well, last year I was ranked 166 in the nation.
166 in the nation, you guys. So we're not working with like slumps here, all right? We're good at what we're doing, all right? Amber, while we're on FHA, let's talk briefly just a little bit further about that. What is the current minimum credit score for FHA?
Well, FHA is a couple. So if you're going to put the minimum 3.5% down, then you're looking at a 580 or above FICO score.
Okay.
Right? You can also add a lot of grants to FHA. Most of the grants want to see you at least 600 or above on the grant programs. That way you can utilize the 3.5% down FHA and then add the grant to cover that 3.5%. And you're not coming in with any down payment. But you can go down to a 540 FICO score if you're going to put 10% down. It's the only program that you can go that low, on it.
So we had somebody, I'm going to put some questions up here. I have 480 credit and tons of bad debt writing off. Will I qualify for an FHA loan? Amber, I know that you work hand in hand with a lot of people that need help with just fixing their credit and they think they know how to do it. Was that somebody that you would say, what would you say to this person, I guess?
I would say, let's talk so I can give you a game plan because we need to get your credit scores up. But just yesterday, I pulled somebody that was in the high 400s and the credit wasn't very lengthy. It was just recent stuff that hit on the credit. So it was making the scores look bad, but it was more because it had more recent stuff that you just need to clear up. So I can kind of help you with the game plan, and tell you what I think you should do to your credit.
I love that. And then last question that I'm just seeing in the comments here regarding FHA, there was somebody who said, seems like there's a lot of a small small listing section of FHA condos specifically in Las Vegas, or am I wrong? So what you guys need to know is like when you are getting approved for a loan and you want to buy a specific property, if it is in a condominium community or townhome community, if it's in a community with a specific type of HOA setup, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Amber, they do have to be approved to be able to include FHA loans in that community. Is that correct?
Yeah. So with condos, you own what's inside the walls. The outside, the land, the roof, everything else is owned by the HOA. So a mortgage company has to go in and qualify the condo development just as much as they have to qualify you. So a lot of times the condo development doesn't have their paperwork in line to FHA standards, and that's why only a small amount of condos are approved FHA. A lot of times you have to go conventional in the condo world.
But we can certainly find them. Okay, moving on from FHA. Let's talk about, what was the other one? Conventional.
Look at the conventional loan limit.
Dude, Amber, wasn't that like 400,000, like, I don't know, 6 years ago or something? That's
It wasn't,
crazy.
yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It was like 487, I think. But now 806, 500. So that moves it to where it less and less people have to do jumbo loans to, if you're going higher in purchase price, you don't have to play in that jumbo world anymore, which gives you more buying power, putting less money down, lesser rates and stuff like that. But so this is for a 1 unit. Now keep in mind, if you buy a 2 unit, 3 unit, or 4 unit, then you have different loan limits. But for a 1 unit, it's 806, 500 right now for 2025.
And one of the misconceptions about conventional, again, and I don't know if you get this a lot. I think we've talked about this before, Jacob, in our side conversations, is that a lot of people assume you must put 20% down on a house, and especially assume that you must put 20% down on a house for a conventional loan. Have you heard that before, Jacob?
I mean, that's just the standard knowledge that most people have. They think you have to have 20% down to buy any property, but it's like, no,
Right.
as Amber well knows, you definitely don't, depending on what you're buying and what kind of program you're using.
Right. Amber, tell us more about that, because I know that there's several variables in there in terms of what you can put down for conventional.
I think that rumor comes from like places like California, like Northern California, where it's high end. And then there you pretty much have to put 20% down because they're loan limits and stuff. And because the prices are so high and it's all jumbo. But like you can put as little as 3% down on conventional. So for first-time home buyers, they have 3% available. If you're not first-time home buyer, usually it's 5%. They even have cool programs on conventional where if you're under a certain income limit that you get cheaper rates. They also have somewhere if you're in certain areas of town that they're trying to target, you can get cheaper rates too. So there's a lot of different things on conventional, a lot of different ways to play with it. There's so many. We could probably spend like 5 YouTubes just talking about different like tricks on conventional loans to be able to do.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much that's available out there for you.
That's the thing that I love about you, Amber, is like there's some lenders who are very black and white, and there's 4 things that I offer and I don't want to do any more work. But you are like not only creative, but just super, you're like a dog with a bone. Sorry to call you a dog, but you're like a dog with a bone. If you see someone that wants to buy a house and they need to maneuver through things, you're going to look at every damn program, every possible grant, every possible this, that, and the other to get them into a house, which is really, really cool. So thank you for being so flexible. I wanted to just touch on, because I'm watching the comments, guys. A lot of you are asking about grants. So Amber and I actually do a weekly live stream every Friday around 11 or 12, usually around noon PST. We talk about grants all the time because there's thousands of grants that come out every year. So starting in the new year, just please tune in. If you aren't subscribed to our channels, please do so, because we do go live very regularly and we talk about those instances where we can really dive into new grants that might make hope of home ownership possible for you, but also just keeping you in mind on like new stuff that hits the market. So for those of you who are asking us to talk more about grants, tune into our upcoming live streams. We'll definitely do that. And keep asking questions, guys. There's some great stuff in the chat. We're going to hit Q&A towards the end here for sure.
That's the fun thing about January is when we hit the new year, that's when we start getting all the new money and all the new all the grant programs are refunded again too. So you have that. Lots available.
Okay, guys. So I heard a birdie tell me, are we done with the loan limits? Sorry, did I miss one? Well,
the only thing I was going to say is VA, if you're buying your first VA house, VA has no loan limits. So you can go as high as you want to. But if it's your second VA house, so say you have one house and then you're going to buy another and you have 2 on your VA loan, then their loan limit is the same as conventional. So in order, so you have to fit both houses within that 806 500 on the conventional side, or like on the VA side. So we can work that out, but VA, that's the only time a loan limit applies is when you're doing multiple, like you have one VA and then you're buying another VA. Did that make sense, or did that lose you? Because VA is a little confusing.
I love that the VA has no limit. I think it made sense. What about you, Jacob? Did that jive for you? My brain's fried today.
Shoot, no limit on the VA loan? Heck yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. Awesome.
Yeah, well, so I heard like the last one I closed was like a $1.4 million 100% financing VA loan. You can't get that anywhere. That's why I'm always telling the veterans, if you have VA, use it. Do not like, and plus you could buy multiple houses. VA is so fun with how you can play with it.
Wow. That's amazing. I heard a little birdie tell me that there was a Fed meeting this week, guys. I would love to hear both of your thoughts on the Fed meeting. Did you watch it by chance, Jacob, or have you been tuning into any of the info?
No, I have not. So I'll have to lean.
Probably a good idea, like earphones. Don't tell me anything that's going on.
Yeah, well, it's been a wild week for me, to put it lightly.
Got it.
So
Jacob getting in the wild stuff here in Las Vegas, living his best life, Las Vegas life.
Okay, just I'll leave it at that.
Well, then Amber, yeah, tell us what's what, because I did hear a rumor, but I know that a lot of people have been like waiting with bated breath to like see if there's going to be a rate drop, and everybody thinks they're going to time the market. And I'm just going to wait for the rates to drop. I'm going to wait for the rates to drop. I'm going to talk about why that's not a good idea here in a minute. But what happened at the Fed meeting, and should we care? Like, I don't know.
Well, this is a good one to ignore if you wanted good news. So basically, like I'll just give you the Amber synopsis of it, right? So the Fed dropped the Fed fund rate 0.25%, which is short-term loans, right? So that's like credit cards, car loans, like home equity lines, but not mortgages for your home. On the mortgage side, they said that they're going to reduce their security holdings. We've talked about this before. So I feel like there was just this, like it was like smoke and mirrors, because all you're seeing is that quarter Fed. But when he said he's going to reduce the security holdings, that's us. That's mortgages. So basically what that means is that reducing the security holdings keeps our rates higher, because that's mortgage-backed securities right there. So that keeps our rates higher. And they showed you always make fun of me when I say this, but it was a dot plot map. So they showed a map of what the Fed members are all like going for next year, how many drops they're looking at, and that reduced next year. So basically what it means in a big picture is that we're pretty much in the market we're going to be in next year. Like that's how I took it, is like, okay, we're in the same market next year as we are in this year. That's how I took it.
Can you say dot
2026 as well?
Say dot plot map seven times fast. Say it fast. Go. Dot plot map. Dot plot map. This theater kid knew how to do tongue twisters. Dot plot map. Dot plot map. I don't know if I can do it again, but. So what you're saying is, for those of people who are like standing by trying to say, I'm going to time the market, I'm going to wait. Now is a juicy, crunchy time to buy. And just because of, not because of rates or anything like that, but just because of the fact that there's not a lot of competition on the market, but all throughout next year, it's going to feel a little bit more like it did this year is what you're saying. So timing the market's not really a thing right now.
Yeah, like this year, I feel like kind of mimicked last year a little bit. Do you kind of feel like that too? Except for the end of the year was a little bit better. Like last year, the end of the year kind of like paused a little bit. This year, I didn't see a pause, but every other month it feels like it kind of mimicked. And I mean, to me, that's what it kind of feels like next year too.
I love that. Amber and I go live, like I said, once a week, and every year we've been doing this for 6 years together, 7 years together. I don't even know how many years we've been doing this, but every year at the exact same time, every year we say, it's the juicy, crunchy time to buy. It's October through the end of the year. It's time to buy, because of the fact that nobody wants to move during the holidays. It has nothing to do with rates really, more than it is inventory, a lot of deals for new home communities, and just stuff that happens at the end of the year that gives you a little bit more of a fighting chance to get a deal, like a sweet deal. This year was the first year that we really didn't say a lot of that, because it was just kind of more of the same. It still has that effect, but it's just been kind of this weird. It's just been a weird ass year. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just been a weird ass year.
It has been kind of a different, and it's all been flowing differently, right? Like it's hard to predict it.
Yeah. Real quick, I wanted to just say shout out to Eve G. I wanted to say hi because I know she threw you a $10 tip there, Jacob. So I think that's to Jacob. I don't know who, somebody. So thank you, Eve. Thanks. We don't expect to be paid for this, but Jacob loves a $10 tip. What are we getting for this $10 tip, my friend?
What is Eve getting? Okay.
What is Eve getting? Well, I'm going to benefit from Eve's tip. I'm here for the show. Let's go. So anyway, wanted to just remind everybody that's on here. Please feel free, comment. I can't talk today. Drop it like it's hot. Feel free to comment. We want to answer your questions. We're going to run through a few more things here, and then we will start to go down that route of the comment box, which is sometimes fun, sometimes scary. If you guys are cool, can I jump in and show some of the information regarding like the median home prices and the inventory, things like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm always curious about, because I feel like the inventory is following what the rates are doing. So let's see what the inventory is doing. I'm excited.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, this is the disclaimer up front. These are the information we're sharing is always retrospectively. We're never looking forward. We have crystal ball, but we're not like, it's a little foggy these days, especially more than we realize. But again, keep in mind, like, these are always going to be the previous month, but I do like to show the previous 2 months to show you kind of the differences in what's happening on the market. So as of right now, guys, as of October, I should say, as of October, here's a bit of a market snapshot. We had our median sold price, which means like, single family units across the valley. This does not include new homes, so keep that in mind. We were at a $475,000 median sold price, meaning that's the gavel banged, and that's what they got the house for. But we started with almost 500,000, 499,000 listing price. So the difference between those two obviously is the negotiation that we do for you as realtors, and that we do the fighting chance that I was talking about. That's us out there fighting the good fight. We have 3 months of effective availability. This is October again, so we're looking back a couple months. I'm doing this on purpose because I want to show you the shift and the change since last month. And then on the condo townhome section, we got 315 was our median sold price. We got 301 was the median listing price. So what does that tell me? The single family homes, there were more available to choose from, and there was a little more negotiability. On the condos, they actually kind of went up in price, and the people were not getting as many deals. So there were some people duking it out for those houses. So this is October. Now let's look at November. This is the most recent information that we have. In the next 3 weeks, guys, we will have updated information for the end of the year. So I'm going to go back and forth. Let me put this one back on. This is October. We went from $500,000 as our listing price to $475,000. I'm just looking at single family. Now we're at $510,000 and $480,000. So it looks to me like there's some people out there in November. There were some people out there really duking it out, really trying to fight the good fight. But the price elevated quite a little bit, right? We went up $10,000 in the listing price and about $5,000 when it came to the sold price. But let me go back again to October. Let's look at that bottom section in gold, guys. 301 was our listing price for condos, and they were selling in October for 315, and they went back down. Those started to come back down. So what does that tell me? If you look at the number next to that, it says 3.9 months effective availability. There were more condos listed, so there was more to choose from. So what does that do? It waters down the pricing a little bit. It gives you more options, a little bit less negotiability, right? Or sorry, more negotiability, less competition. That's going to make that price kind of slim down and straighten out. On the reverse side, though, for the homes, it was a different story. So hope this gives you guys a little bit of information. There's a lot of numbers to be flying around, and a lot of stats that people share when it comes to the process of talking about the real estate market. We try not to get too stat heavy because everybody has, it's like stats are like, stats are like buttholes. Everybody has them and they're all different, right? So at the end of the day, I was like really gross, but I had to do it. At the end of the day, like we try to take it with a grain of salt, but those are some really good numbers when it comes to the median prices. Those are the really good numbers to kind of go by. Everything else, everybody has an opinion, blah, blah, blah. That's what we're going through. So what do you guys think of that? What are your thoughts on the condos versus townhomes in November? Condos going down, houses going up.
I mean, I like the fact that there's more availability right now. It gives you more to pick from. It means that buyers can get a little bit more closing costs. I like it when we hit those markets, when we get a little bit more closing costs on there. So I'm always looking at that, availability, what that's doing month to month.
Absolutely. I'm never surprised, but I'm always surprised at the end of the day. And it's been a bit of a roller coaster of a year. In the beginning of the year, guys, what I think we're going to do for our first live stream in January is I would love nothing more than for us to look at the January through December kind of timeline showing, or not timeline, but the graph that shows where the prices went up and down, because we had some big swings this last year. From like January to June was like a massive shift, and then it kind of equaled out. So if we're going to see more of that this year, I think it'll be great. So we will definitely have that plan for our first live stream in the coming year, which is like you guys like 2.5 weeks away. I can't believe it. So yes, I love that. All right, let's jump over to the comments, see if we can answer some questions, and then we will hop off and get this thing going. All right, guys, like if you have questions, please, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate everybody who's still watching. Drop it like it's hot in the comment box below. Let us know. Let me see what we can say here. Gershon says, how much is a 3-bed, 2-bath rancher? This is a great question. Can I touch on this one, Amber?
Of course, you would be the best person to touch on this one.
I mean, this is like what I do for a living every day. No, just kidding. I want to touch on that one only because I'm not going to give you the answer you want, unfortunately, Gershon, because I just gave you the median home prices. The reality of the situation, though, is there's a few things in Las Vegas that are going to take your price point up and be just less available, right? A couple things. I'm going to run through them. Number one, single story. That's a rancher. Single story house, you're going to pay more. No matter what, you're going to pay more. Number two is a pool. That's definitely hard to come by. And you can still put pools in, but they're very restricted now, only 600 square feet. So they're like a dip pool, or like a one of those pools you lay down in and you're like, I feel like you're in a kiddie pool, that kind of thing. They're kind of tiny. They can be big, but they can be designed well, but they're not great. So like a little wading pool. So single story pool, anything in Summerlin, anything in the deep Henderson, like bougie neighborhood, you're going to pay more, right? Bedroom downstairs if it's a two-story house, and then also RV parking. So those are like the 4 or 5 things that are going to absolutely drive that price up. So when you ask me a broad question like what's a 3-bed 2-bath rancher cost, it's going to depend on the area of town. It's going to depend on the age of the home. It's going to depend on upgrades that have been made to the home. So I would just kind of stick with like, let's get you qualified if you're interested in chatting and like seeing how much you could spend. Let's get you talking to Amber. Click the link in the description, or you can just text us at the phone number below. Let us know you came from this live. We'd love to set up a phone call. There's no hard sale with us, guys. We are very, very direct. We're very just like want to be here for you as a resource. We don't care if you're moving now, 10 years from now, or if you never move. We just want to be able to be a resource with truth and with caring on the other side of the phone call. But I could probably give you some more info, but the median prices is where I would start. 500,000 as a listing price, 480 as the sold price as of last month as a good gut check, and then add a little bit more for each one of those things that I just mentioned. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate that.
Nice explanation. Love it.
Good. Those sellers are trying to get more lately.
Dude, for sure. Oh, Jacob, Kiwi says, my man, Jacob, thanks for all your videos, dude. One day I'll come through and catch up with you. Have an awesome Christmas. Kiwi from New Zealand.
You're welcome, Kiwi.
I love Jacob's fans. He's got so many cool followers and such cool people. They actually ask really great questions. Let's see here. Let's see what this one says. I'm no loan, no time, I can't read it. That was a little garbled. I'll come back to that one. I got to read it again. Let's see here. Oh, hey, Sammy. Sammy says hi. Hi, Sammy.
Hey, Sammy.
She just bought her first house last year with us. She's one of those people who bought a house, who didn't think she could ever buy a house. And we worked with her for years to get her ready. And she's just one of the best. I love her. She's actually asking another question. She says, does FHA approve a modular home? That's a really good question.
Yeah, FHA does approve modular homes. When you're looking at like modular or manufactured, it just has to be converted to real property. So there has to be tags on it. But yeah, you can get FHA financing on those.
Very nice.
Sammy, I can't believe it's been a year too. That's so crazy.
I know. I'm going to pull it up. I think she said that here below. I'm going to find that comment. Josh, though, is saying, who helps access the grants, or is it the buyer who has to go and find them and access the grants? Amber.
Joshua, that is me that looks up these grants. I love the grant world. So anytime there's a grant out, I'm going to run to tell you about it. And you maximize everyone. There was just a grant today that one of the clients couldn't qualify for any other grant. So I went to them and asked for an exception. And then they gave me an exception on that particular grant.
Oh my God.
So,
that's amazing.
All these different grants. That's my job, is to know them.
That's amazing. Maximo says, what's a 1 unit?
Single family residence, like townhouse or condo. So like one living space. If it's a 2 unit, it's kind of like a duplex. A 3 unit's like a triplex. A 4 unit would be like a fourplex.
And we were just talking about this earlier, Jacob. What we were about duplexes. You said you found one recently, but we just don't have a lot of those here in Vegas.
No, I learned that years ago. Looking at duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. Yeah, there's not many in the area, and they're not building new ones anytime soon.
No, they are not. They're going to make money from every single person that wants to buy a house and maximize that land. Hey, La Payelle, I guess is how you say it, La Payelle. It says, what's the new jumbo loan limit, Amber?
Well, jumbo goes anywhere below, anything above the 806,500 in a loan, and above is considered jumbo.
Got it. That's awesome. Let's see here. Oh, Sean says, I paid cash for my house in North Carolina. I was lucky. Congratulations. That's amazing. This is a little bit of a flattery moment for me. Joel says, I'm banging, loving the bang. Sorry, I got to give myself some love here. It can't all be about you, Jacob. God.
Fine.
Oh, look, here's the moment from Sammy. I can't believe it's been a year. Boom and I started our home journey. It'll be a year since we closed on March 1st. That's amazing. So proud of you. Seriously. Super duper proud of you. Aaron is asking the question, Amber, have you seen changes since the NAR lawsuit rules got put into effect? That's actually a really great question. I can touch on that a little bit if you guys are cool. No, I haven't seen any changes. That's the straight answer, but let me touch on it a little bit. I have noticed changes, not with buyers and not with anything other than just miscommunication. So the reality of the situation is, guys, is when you want to come to Vegas and look at homes, you have to sign an agreement with the realtor that you choose to represent you before you can even see the homes. The only time you can see a home without a realtor is going to be through an open house. And the open house people are going to be following you around the open house, trying to banging you with their contract, trying to get you to sign a contract to be able to see more homes. So we've already been kind of doing this for a long time with our clients. We make sure our clients are fully qualified to buy a home before we even step foot in any of the houses in Las Vegas. It's just smart business practice. It's respectful to the seller. And it's also the only way to make sure that we're not wasting our time or yours, and that we're all working towards a common goal. So if you're wanting to see houses, please, please, please consider texting the link or clicking the link, texting the number on the screen. We would love to chat with you to get you dialed in and get you ready. There's no pressure if you get ready and then you decide not to buy, but we want to make sure you know that you have to be qualified and you have to sign an agreement with us before you're going to see a home. And this is every realtor, every single realtor. So I had a client that was working with us briefly before the rules went into play, and we were kind of already working on getting them qualified. They were already qualified, but she did not want to sign any kind of an agreement, which told me she was utilizing the services of many realtors, not telling any of them that she was doing that, which is fine. You can shop around, but it really is not, it's not great when you're spending time with somebody who's not serious. And then she demanded to me that, she said, there's no way that's everybody. There's no way that's everybody. I don't believe that everybody has to do this. You're just, making this up. She hung the phone up very angrily, and then 4 days later called me back and said, I'm ready to sign the agreement. Can we go look at houses? And I said, oh, it looks like you made some phone calls to some other realtors. And why didn't you choose to work with them? And she said, no, we really wanted to work with you. We wanted to keep our options open. And I said, well, you can always cancel. Like, good Lord. 4 days later, and you're welcome. Dang it. I don't tell lies. So that's the only changes we've really seen. A lot of people thought that it was going to really mess up our industry. The only time that the new rules from that from the lawsuit are going to apply in a big way is if we run out of inventory and the rates drop dramatically. When there's still negotiability on a house, those rules are not going to make any damn difference to you other than having to sign a document. When and if there's a chance that you're going to be pulling mattress money to buy that house because there's no negotiability, that's when there's some conversations that need to be had about commissions and who pays for what. So hope that helps you understand. Great question. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to give you this one, Amber. What price house do you think I can afford with a $150,000 down payment, 15-year mortgage, not spending more than $3,000 a month on the mortgage, and what parts of town? That's a doozy. Woo!
That's a doozy
Pretty
of a
well laid
question.
out, though.
Yeah,
very well laid out.
Good job laying it out, but it's hard to answer without knowing a lot more things on the file. So like, with $150,000 down, I don't know if we're doing an FHA loan. I don't know if we're doing a conventional loan. I don't know if we're doing a VA loan. I'm not sure what your debt ratio looks like. So what your other debts look like. So there's a lot of different things that we have to look at to be able to see what you qualify for. And then what puts you at that 3K range. Again, like what your credit scores are. Like there's just a lot more things in there. So I'm happy to talk to you. And we can go through it one-on-one and then go through your individual needs. And then we can run payments for you and see where it puts you in your, in the category you're looking for.
You're pretty wide open as far as areas of town, though. I'll touch on that part of it. There are affordable houses in every single area of town. It's just about what you need and what you want, what the age of the home looks like, what the condition of the home looks like, the upgrades, all those things. So we touch on a lot of that in all of our, again, I'm not trying to do a shameless plug, but I do want to tell you, we're live every week and we share a lot of really great info. So stay tuned, tune back in. And like I said, just text that phone number or click the link, because that'll give us a chance to set up a phone call with you. Amber will literally talk through this, even if you don't buy a house. I mean, we want you to buy a house, but it's not imperative.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk numbers. I mean, we can even do like a soft pull on the credit where I'm just looking at it so we can kind of like work full game plan for you.
Well, my dog is coming. He's trying to get on camera. Joshua says, is it unheard of for new construction on empty lots in the valley, or are those loans hard to qualify for? It's a good question.
So to do, like, if you're going to buy new construction, if you're looking to buy a lot and then build a house, no, there's construction loans out there. They're not usually with like low down payment. Usually the construction loans, you have to put more money down to be able to do it and then find your own general and, have more things written up. So it's a little bit extra effort, but that'd be a cool house to build,
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely harder to build a house from scratch with doing it yourself here in Vegas, just because of Permitting costs, you end up paying a lot more per square foot for the house because finding the talent of people to come in and do it. A lot of the talent, like the people who are working to build your home, the drywallers and the plumbers and the electricians are sucked up by the builders in town. The builders keep those guys well employed and keep them busy all year round. So finding the right talent to do that, you're gonna have to pay a pretty penny to make it happen. But happy to talk to you about it though, for sure. We can keep the convo going. This is a good question. And I know you're not allowed to talk rates specifically a lot of times. So I'm going to put the disclaimer up. Hang on one second. Whoop, there's the disclaimer. Late to the live, but I want to buy my second home. What are the interest rates looking like? Amber, are you able to give a range if we emphatically state that you are not guaranteeing that rate? You know, it's all based on blah, 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 blah. Are you able to kind of talk about where they've been?
Second home's kind of a different ballpark. So like that's something we'll probably have to talk about personally too, because it all depends on credit scores, debt ratios, you know, and all that kind of stuff with second homes. Plus there's a bump. So there's a primary rate that's like the going average rate right now. And then, and I didn't look that up before I got on this live. Otherwise I would tell you the average rate right now. But then there's a bump to second homes. So you're going to pay kind of like an investment rate for a second property.
So and this is a dumb question, I'm asking genuinely with no knowledge of what this would look like. So if I'm getting 6.25 for my rate on the first home, is there typically a standardized upgrade in terms of how much it is more for the investment? Is it like going to always be 5% or
No,
half
I mean,
percent more?
a lot of times it's about a 0.5%, but sometimes there's additional points on your closing costs too.
Got it.
Depending on how much you're putting down. That's why it's hard to give a range, you know, because it depends a lot on down payment and a lot of different things on second home and investments.
Nice. Good. You guys are asking some great questions.
Yeah,
All right, let's take a handful more questions. This is amazing. Sammy, our son and daughter-in-law are moving to Las Vegas from Chicago, and of course I had to put them in contact with the right people. That's right, my girl. Yes, I love that. I actually didn't finish reading that whole thing until I put it up on screen. I'm like, I'm glad that ended well. I'm glad that I should probably read a little bit better. How about the strip condo? Average price, HOA fees, do they exist? Steve Seattle. I'll touch on this one. Yeah, so I actually lived in a high rise that was on Las Vegas Boulevard, not at the strip, like where all the craziness is, but down towards downtown. Those were going for about 400, 450 now, maybe between I'd say 450. We'll call it 450. And I would love to buy one because I'll tell you what, that was the dopest house I've ever lived in. It was so awesome. I had a strip view. It was on the 12th floor. It was a studio. It was awesome. But the problem that I ran into when I was renting it at the time as I was transitioning after a very needed divorce that I'm very happy is over. And now so while I was renting, I went to look into buying one. And while the price point was fine, it was about $600 a month for the HOA payment. Now we did have a guard at the front door. We had a private garage. We had a beautiful pool. We had amenities. So there was definitely a rightful charge for some of that stuff. But $600 a month can get you a lot more house. Am I right, Amber?
Yeah, I've noticed that pretty much any of the condos along the strip or right off the strip, those HOAs are pretty up there. You pay a pretty price for being close to the strip.
Yeah. So, and I mean, even on the strip, like Vidara and some of the bigger ones, even Palms Place, like the condotel versus all the high rises have that steep HOA. Now, if you live that lifestyle and you having valet and if that's your vibe, I have a dog I had to walk 4 or 5 times a day, which made it not fun. That was the only reason I didn't even really lean more in, but that's it. I mean, pay for it. It's dope. But the price ranges go for anywhere from, I would say 300,000, 350, I would say, with those steep HOAs all the way up to over $1 million, $1.5 million. And then sometimes the buildings will change what you're paying HOA wise based on the floor and based on the view, right? So some people are paying $1,500 a month in HOA, which God bless them. And if any of them are single, let me know. I would love to say hi. But all that being said is there's just a lot of different variables, but really great question. And I actually freaking loved it. So if you're thinking about those, we definitely have sold a lot of those too. Weren't you looking into some of those for yourself, Jacob, at one point, or just considering just learning more about them?
Yeah. I mean, to live in something like that, or more in the action of the Vegas area. Cause some people they think all the locals live on the strip or live near all the casinos or in the casinos, which we don't, but no, some do, but most of the people in the Vegas Valley don't live anywhere near the casinos, the hotels, and the strip and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
it's a very interesting thing. We have such a unique market here and such a unique offering, right? We're not New York, we're not LA, it's just such a unique, interesting market, and everything is much closer to each other than people think. So people are like, I don't want to live near the strip. And we're like, but then some people are like, I want to live on the strip. I'm like, well, good news. You two can be neighbors because you're going to only be within about 15 or 20 minutes from each other. You know what I mean? So it's just so funny. This is a really great question I just saw. Jay Stratton said, I own my home in Green Valley. What do you think of reverse mortgages to purchase another home? How do you feel about that, Amber? Or how does that even work?
So what a reverse mortgage is it's a mortgage when you're over 62 years of age. You can, and you have to put down a significant amount of money too. But you can turn it into a reverse mortgage. So instead of making your monthly payment, that payment gets attached to the principal of your house each month. A lot of financial planners use this so that they use a reverse mortgage to save people monthly so that they could put it into investments. A lot of people use it because when you get into retirement age, it's just harder to live off of that income. And so then you get rid of the mortgage payment and you're basically living off your home equity. So it's great. The only place that it's probably not great for is your kids, because when you pass, you owe less and less equity. You still get, your kids will still get what equity is left on it, but every payment is being attached to the house. So it just depends on, it's right for some people and not right for other people. But I mean, personally, I've talked to my parents about a reverse mortgage because, why shouldn't they live their best life? We don't need their money from the house. My brother and sister might not agree, but so it just depends on what you're looking for.
I love that. There's another one. Richard the Third said, "How quickly can you move in if you can pay cash for a home?" Really good question. And I'll take that one because Amber's out of the loop on that transaction. We have closed. There is a closing time frame. I've closed a house in 7 days. So if somebody was buying with cash and we had all their documents that we needed, we could work very quickly with the seller. Seller was willing to say yes and get out of the house or whatever. We've closed the house as soon as 7 days to give them a chance to pull title, run all the title reports and things like that. So yeah, 7 days I'd say is probably the earliest. I've seen it done a little bit sooner, but that gets a little sketchy. And I always want to give my buyers a chance to get an inspection done and to make sure that if they want an appraisal, they can get that done too. And those things can sometimes take a little bit of time. But yeah, 7 days, baby, 7 days. And I'll be honest with you, when you guys are buying houses, a lot of you guys don't quite realize that it's usually a 30-day escrow time frame, which means like by the time you start shopping with us, let's say we started today shopping, maybe it takes us a month to find you a house. It shouldn't. It usually takes us only a week or two, but maybe it takes us a month. The minute you put that offer on the house, you're like 30 days to the day that you're going to get your keys. Variables come into play with loan stuff and things like that, or somebody needs a little more time, but typically it's about 30 days. I've never closed a house more than 60 days. And those are the hard ones to like negotiate. So people usually want to get those things sold and out of their life. All right, let's see here. What else? Oh my goodness, there's so much. There's so many. You guys are giving us some great questions. This is a good one. Do you think our market will be how it was 10 years ago ever, or are we the new LA? That's a really good question. Notice none of us answered the question.
Well, hell, there's almost 1 million more people living here now than it was 10 years ago. So, I mean, it's never the demand of people moving here. It'll never go back to what it was in that sense. I mean, because just the growth has been immense. So, I mean, the local market will always change.
Yeah, I mean, I think my take is in alignment with that. I think we've gone up, and the only time we've ever gone down is when the rest of the world went down because of the crash in 2007. Real estate's a long-term investment, and a lot of people assume that they think of it as it's like a 1 year, 3 year thing, and that's not sexy. That doesn't work. So all that being said, we really want to keep you guys focused on long-term. I do foresee us continuing to go up, though. I don't want to say we're going to be the new LA because I just get heartbroken at the thought that we will be in a situation where nobody can afford to buy homes. We also have a lot more land to build and things that are expanding that are going to give us a little bit of a reprieve from that. But I mean, 30 years from now, we might look a little bit like LA does. I mean, that's probably the reality. So all the more reason to buy if you're thinking about buying. I mean, like buying sooner rather than later gives you that much more time for that long-term investment to build equity, and that could pay your bills. You could be happy about buying here and not being mad about not buying, like people in LA are right now. So good question though. Really, really good question. Okay, let's do 2 more questions and then we'll kind of bounce if you guys are cool. I know we all have some stuff going on. Let's see here. Somebody, I can't find it, but somebody had asked about HOA, 4 to 6 miles. What's the standard HOA? I cannot find it here and I cannot get this one to go away right now. So, oh, here it is. I'll make that go away. HOA fees in Vegas. I want to say something about HOAs because a lot of you guys who live in California, which is where most of you, 77% of our population comes from California. A lot of you guys are scared to death of HOAs and like, I'm not moving into a house with an HOA because California messed it up, right? Like there's a lot of rules out there that we don't have here. It's not good, right? HOAs are not fun. I'm letting you guys know, and I'm saying this today. I reserve the right to change my mind in the future. But right now, HOAs here are not crazy. They're not out there measuring your lawn with a ruler. They're not up in your face.
Most HOAs.
Huh? Most of them,
HOAs.
most HOAs. So on average, I would say, I've seen HOAs as low as $13 a month. You don't get a lot of amenities, but that just kind of keeps everybody in alignment for how the houses look and feel. And then I've seen them upwards of $800 a month, depending on what kind of a house you're buying, like we talked about. So on average, though, I would say most of the time HOAs these days are around $90 to $150 a month. If it's above $150, you better have a guard gate. You better have some great amenities. There better be something included that makes it worth your while. But between $90 to $150 a month is what I'm seeing. Are you seeing the same thing, Amber?
Yeah, I mean, unless it is kind of a really nice area, which most of those are higher end. Condos, though, typically are more than that. Those are like 250, 200. I mean, between 200 and 300, depending on the condo. And some of the townhouses get a little up there too. But for single family, yeah, I would say that kind of range is what I'm seeing.
Good. Really good question. And then last one today, guys. Thank you again for everybody. By the way, before we answer this, you guys have been awesome. We've had a great showing for everybody here listening. Jacob, I think we need to do more of these together. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it'll happen.
Okay, good. Ben Simpson said, me and my girlfriend are thinking about immigrating to Las Vegas from the UK. What's the best advice to do when we come over? Great advice. I'm going to let it start with Jacob. What would you say, Jacob?
Jeez. Well, I thought you were going to take it from the home buyer perspective, but
I think there's a lot of angles we should cover for sure.
Yeah, because I do. I've actually over the years I've had people ask me like, "Hey, we want to buy. We live in Canada, we live in the UK, and we want to buy. Like, can we even do that?" And I'm like, Laci.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like, thank you, Jacob. Yes, Jacob. Yeah, or Jacob. I have to look the other way. Yeah. I'd say, when you're thinking about, if it's about home buying, I'll definitely talk about that. But briefly, I just want to touch on the fact that like a lot of people are looking to do this. And I know that the immigration stuff with just citizenship and things are a long process, green card visit, all that stuff is stuff that I want to be smarter about. Jacob, I'm urging you to do videos about this because I'm not the person who thinks like you do, and you break stuff down so beautifully for the audience. I definitely think that's some information we need to start sharing because there's a lot of people that do want to move here and they just don't know where to begin. But starting with us is a great point if you are thinking about doing the home buying process. Amber, how does that look when it comes to buying a house with a loan? I know there's a few different loans you can do, but what if I don't have a credit score in the US? And give me kind of a take on that.
Well, here's how I would look at it. There's two separate ways. So if right now you're thinking about it for the future, but you want to buy something now, right now you don't have the Social Security to be able to get a regular loan. So you could buy an investment property in Vegas, rent it out until you get your life situated and then you're here. And with doing that, you could do a DSCR loan. Those loans don't require, if you're a foreign national, so you're from a different country and you don't have the social, we don't have to pull your credit and stuff like that. You have to put down a pretty good down payment on it. And then you could do that. And then until you get your life situated, and then you can change that loan when you get here. So you could do it that way. Or my advice would be start your citizenship if you want to come here, move here, and you're totally moving everything over and don't want to put a down payment like a DSCR loan requires. Then start working on your citizenship so that you can get your Social Security or whatever visa you need to get your Social Security number. Right when you get your Social Security number, immediately go and start getting 1 or 2 credit cards and then using them monthly, then paying them down, use them and then pay them down, use them and pay them down. That'll take about 6 months to establish credit. And then we need to work on the job. I don't know if you're like self-employed or you're getting a job, stuff like that. So you could do it 1 or 2 ways, depending on how fast you're looking to move to the United States.
It is possible, though. I mean, we've seen people buy homes who have only been here a few months, where they establish that credit very quickly, because credit will build very quickly if you have none. If you're starting from zero, it's definitely an easy thing to do. So all the more reason to just kind of reach out to us. So again, I just want to reiterate. First of all, thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Amber. Thank you. Thank me. Thank all of us for being able to be together on this. I love when we're together because it just creates a good conversation. And you guys we all have different kind of following and different audience types of, that are asking different types of questions. So I think it really brings a really good conversation to the forefront. Some great questions. Thank you to everybody watching today. If you are thinking about moving to Vegas, Amber and I are more than happy to take a phone call and just chat. There doesn't have to be we're going to pull your credit and you need to, unless you want real numbers, there's not going to be a lot of that. It's my favorite thing to do. Well, second favorite thing. My first favorite thing is to meet you guys in person when you're in town. But my second favorite thing to do is to just really take a phone call and just listen to you dream a little bit about getting from where you are to where you want to be, which is right here in my neon hometown. Like, it's my favorite thing to do. I figured out this year that I love it so much because it takes me back every single time to the moment that my family moved to Vegas, and it changed my life for the best. So we want to be a part of that journey. This is exciting. People can be negative and there's a lot of crap in the news. And we just urge you to tune into people like us, the three of us who are local experts on everything that we talk about on our channels. And it's an honor. I know, it's just really fun to do this. I just had a good time today. This is really fun. So thank you guys. Click the link in the description, or there's that phone number that I will put back on the screen because I forgot to do that a minute ago. There you go. There's that phone number and we can go there.
Oh,
hey, Jacob, I'm excited. Somebody asked what video you're doing next. What are you working on right now?
Oh, good question.
Literally after we are off of this live, it's the update video. So the monthly update.
I'm doing the monthly things to do video after this, but Jacob's is so much cooler because it's more like Jacob just gets in there for that information. It's like,
there's plenty. There's plenty to end this year, that's for sure.
I love that. I love that. Well, I want to wish you both a very, very happy Christmas. If you do celebrate, to everybody else who's watching, also happy holidays and happy New Year if we don't see you beforehand. This has been a wild year, but I'm excited to do more of this together. And I'm grateful that we're standing next to each other literally on screen right now. How about technology to do it?
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks again for everybody who tuned in. Happy holidays for everybody. Talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.